Fieldsports groups say it's the thin end of a wedge that could extend to the rest of the UK. Wales plans to ban then licence game shooting. The Welsh Government's rural agency, Natural Resources Wales, proposes to issue licences for all game bird release. To start with, it will be a general licences system for most shoots. Those near to protected sites will have to apply for a specific licence if they want to release pheasants or red-legged partridges.
It's simple. This is the first consultation of its kind on game bird release. And it's being done because there's quite a lot of opposition. In fact, a significant amount of opposition. But we are 1 million people who engage in this, and all our voices can be heard for this. And this is the start. We've already seen it happen elsewhere, and we will see it happen again after this.
NRW says it wants public approval, so it's opened a 12-week consultation. Fieldsports Organisations says this fight is about weight of numbers. They want everyone to take part wherever they live.
Our views need to be heard, and this consultation is not bounded by Wales, it's not bounded by the United Kingdom. And so we have a community, 1 million of us from the UK, 7 million of us across Europe, and as many of those who can take part and whose voices can be heard will help get our message across.
We've seen in the past numbers count, and so if we don't get involved, it's dead easy. If you want something banned, you get the passion to get involved. If you don't, you just think, I'll keep my head in the sand and hopefully things work out. We're seeing over the years that's not working, so we really do need members and others to engage in this one.
Welsh farmer Gareth Wyn-Jones is also a shooter. He's fearful that if people don't push back against the consultation, it will lead to the government damaging a way of life.
Another day, another consultation in Wales. 12-week consultation about giving licences to releasing game birds. Do you know what? As somebody that enjoys shooting, that loves to go and harvest his own food with friends, I don't get many opportunities, to go out with people, and this is one of the things I can do over the winter months and enjoy other people's company of, the same kind of mindset.
NRW claims it wants to manage game bird releases. It admits that game shooting provides environmental, social and economic benefits.
These gamekeepers are part of our countryside. The money that's generated around this is unreal. Welsh Government doesn't want to be the first. They should be protecting the countryside. They should be protecting these little shoots. That's what we're on. We're on a very, very small syndicate of a few people that go out every 2 weeks to harvest food that I bring home, I pluck, I skin, and I put in my freezer, and I'm still eating them now, and I will be eating them till the beginning of next season. This is what we do. We hunt and gather. We're farmers, we're country folk. Please don't take another one of our passions away from us.
NRW promises it's not about stopping game bird release.
We know with what they propose general licences, we know how general licences can be changed every year to their whim, and we know that over a few years you can get mission creep and it could lead to a total ban.
There are huge risks to shooting, particularly here in Wales. Looking at this consultation document, what they're trying to do is to reduce the number of game birds that are put down in Wales, whether that's through a general licence or a specific licence for designated landscapes. So what we are looking at perhaps is a slow burn approach to what they would really like to see is the end of game bird shooting here in Wales. And this is why we must respond to this robustly and in numbers.
BASC feels the move is an obvious and unnecessary restriction on shooting, with a licensing scheme providing NRW and the Welsh Government with an open goal for further restrictions and conditions.
A few years ago they banned shooting on their ground across Wales. They then refused COVID funding to shooting businesses, which was a legal business to have. So we just think this is another stage. The ministers have stated on numerous occasions they do not support shooting live quarry for leisure purposes.
BACEC has launched a campaign platform to raise awareness and galvanise the shooting sector to respond in significant numbers. BACEC says it's vital for people from outside Wales to also support game shooting.
Welsh Government have never just sort of restricted to consultations from Wales. They're quite happy to take sort of people's sort of views from across the world. So we need them to get involved this time.
So when they tell me that they do not hear from our people, then I think it's really important. Now is the time for our people, as they call them, to respond to this consultation. We know that Welsh Government play a numbers game to suit them. Go back to when they banned game shooting on public land. They referred to a petition of 11,000 names where signatures had come in from all over the world, yet they referred to that petition as something that the people of Wales wanted. So we really need to knock this up a gear and get plenty of responses in.
The Countryside Alliance says Wales is set to be the first region in the UK to licence game shoots. Rachel's worried about what this means for nature and what effect it will have on jobs.
Look, in the quieter winter months, Wales depends on shooting in some of the remotest parts of Wales to boost the coffers. It's an all-round. The countryside can provide 365 days a year tourism because of game shooting in Wales. They prop up the pubs in the quieter winter months. We know that people go out during these winter months to shoot, and that might be the only socialisation that they actually undertake. That's probably the only time that they socialise, where they go out shooting and then they go for a meal with their shooting friends and so on to finish the day off. And it's hugely important. It's hugely important to allow people to harvest their own food, and by restricting the amount of birds that will be put down in Wales will only restrict the number of days, and that cannot be a benefit to our rural economy.
The Alliance says that a licence system gives an anti-shooting Welsh Government the power to shut down game shooting in Wales.
That this seems to be driven by a Welsh Government anti-shooting agenda. They want to restrict the number of game birds here in Wales that are put on the ground. This is nothing but a campaign by the animal rights lobby, which have now lobbied Welsh Government, who seem to be in agreement that they do not want to see game shooting in Wales. They can't ban it outright, but they are certainly trying to tighten that screw to a point where it makes it difficult for people and might even put people off undertaking their own small syndicate shoot.
Fieldsports groups are pleading with people to make their views known.
Absolutely, I would expect to see more of this. We've seen more of it over the last, I don't know how many years. It's not going to get any easier unless we demonstrate that we are relevant, we help governments achieve their biodiversity, natural capital aims, and we help conservation, which we do, and our voice needs to be heard, every single one of us.
It's really important that people step up to the plate. The Countryside Alliance are there to support you. We will provide a briefing note. Please do not sit back. Be part of this numbers game that Welsh Government like to play and get your responses in.
We can see again, sort of time and time again, something happens in one devolved nation, then creeps over the border, happens in the other. So sort of we know where we are in Wales now. If we don't fight this, so that it could be exactly the same in England in a few years' time.
We need this shooting in our countryside. It's part of our heritage and it's part of our tradition, and we should be showcasing it, and we should be definitely supporting it.
The links to the BACEC campaign and where to respond to the NRW's consultation are below.